All right. We are live
Hey,
and
y'all.
ready to go. Hey, y'all. We are back. It's been a minute since we've been live. So it's good to be here with y'all. Welcome to Saturday.
Saturday,
Welcome
and
to
it's really
Saturday.
live this time.
Yes.
What's going on?
If y'all been with us for a while, y'all probably already know that my sweet hubby here has started a garden. That has been his new hobby that he started since we've been back here at the house. And it's been amazing. Hey there, Miss Gilbert.
Hey,
It's been amazing. Not just for the fact that he started a garden, but the unexpected way that it's impacted our marriage and me. So that's what we want to talk to y'all about today. I just want to share just a few ways that I've observed how his hobby of gardening has impacted our marriage in unexpected ways. And I wanted him to give his insight on it too, because we haven't really talked about this too much between ourselves. So we're going to talk through it live with y'all here today.
what you mean by that? We haven't talked about it for this session. We've been talking about this garden for a long time, and all the things I've learned from it. I originally started the garden because we've been on the road for a couple of years. Then we came back to this house that we rented out, and now we're just going to be here for a while. And we've been here a year now. Yeah,
Almost a year.
yeah.
Yep.
Well,
A
at the
year
end of
this
this
month.
month, yeah, at the end of this
Yep.
month, it'll be a year.
Ooh, can't believe that.
Yeah. So it was like, well, having that urge, I always want to get back out on the road. I just like, all right, I need something to keep me here and focus and stuff like that. I could have done a lot of more housing projects or whatever, but I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. So I started a garden.
So we started a
Yeah.
garden
To slow. She
to
French
slow
on
you
that.
down.
You say we started a garden.
No, I
Yeah.
said he.
Oh, okay. I
I
thought you said
wanted
we.
to, but
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So anyway, that's what we're going to talk to y'all about.
That's how I
And
ended up starting the
again,
garden, to slow down.
yeah.
And I've learned a lot in that.
Yep.
Yeah, since then.
So if y'all are new here, we are Linwood and Danae,
Yep.
and we just help Christian couples apply God's biblical principles to their marriage, because we know that when you make God the biggest part of your life together, you won't do life apart from each other. So that's what we are here to help you do today. All right, you ready to get into it?
I'm ready.
So the first thing I would say, the first way that I observed how his new hobby of husbandry has impacted our marriage is it's changed his attentiveness. And what I mean by that, it has actually elevated his attentiveness. So when he started the garden, it's not so much that he had to go and learn how to do the gardening. He had to do more than just do the gardening. He actually had to become a gardener, and that's a big difference. So it's kind of leaked over into our marriage, because as he's been becoming a gardener out there, it changed his perspective on so much of, okay, what do I need to do in this garden? I need to go out here and put my hands on it and do this and do that, and fix this and fix that, to wait a minute, let me slow down a little bit, let me back him up a little bit and really learn who I need to become to do this work of gardening. So it wasn't so much about the work of gardening, it became about becoming a gardener. So in our marriage, he started changing a little bit more of, as he watched me and listen to different things I was going through, it wasn't so much about what he needed to do anymore. Like, okay, well, what does she need me to do? What do I need to fix? It wasn't so much hands-on. He began to kind of ease back a little bit and observe and watch. And he started saying, okay, who does she need me to be in this situation or in this day? Who do I need to become in our marriage for what our marriage needs? So that was one big observation that I've made so far. So what say you? What do you think about that?
Well, you said all the things, but yeah, that's where I started. I did a lot of research, as far as the garden, but as far as our marriage, I'm always observing and researching her, and keeping my little journal mentally and spiritually on what my wife is going through, or man, I said this or did this or wanted to, try to plan this and all this other stuff. But once I just kind of let things to grow, like the word talks about in Corinthians, some water or some seed, some water, but God provides the increase.
Mhm.
He actually says, about Paul and was Apollos?
Apollo.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
But anyway, so I just started allowing the increase
Yeah.
in our life. We've had a lot of great things happen in our life, experiencing life together,
Mhm.
and out on the road. But now that we're here, one of the things that I miss is us talking constantly,
Yeah.
right? And because on the road and RVing and traveling and stuff, you have to speak every day. But now when you sit here, sometimes you don't talk, you pass by,
Mhm.
and there's things are comfortable or going well, all that stuff, and then he's like, well, man, what can I do today? And
Mhm.
sometimes it's nothing, it's just
Yeah.
be a husband, be a wife, be a
Be
father,
present.
be a son, be a daughter, whatever the case may be. We're not asking anything of somebody, and that's what I've learned in the garden as
Mhm.
it's growing. I see little things, I tend to it, like she said, but there's a lot of things I just don't need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's always been very attentive. But like I said, it's just shifted a little bit because it has been less like, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? Less hands on
Yeah.
and just being more present and just being more. So that's been good. But what you just said leads into the second thing that I've observed. And I would say, like, it's kind of play on words, but he's become more tender. And what I mean by that, I kind of speak to more of the tending part of what the garden is teaching him. And
Mhm.
so he goes out there, and it's so funny because y'all know we've told the stories when he first started the garden, he would like go out there and kind of mess with it and dig through the dirt and look at the
Yeah.
seeds, see if they was doing anything.
Well, when they was in the little pots,
Yeah.
when it's in the pots, and what I like to say is like when I'm looking at it in the pots and you're doing your research of gardening, it says some things should have happened by now.
Yeah.
It's like plant the seed at this depth, and do this. So I'm doing all that, and if it's something common that the gardening tools and information has told me, I'm like, okay,
He gonna be
I'll
looking
do
for it.
this, right? And if it hits 2 weeks and it hadn't done it, and I'm like, what is going on? So I really was, because I'm used to building something or projects and stuff like that. So the time frame you give me, I'm going for that.
Yeah.
But once you come out of the time frame and just be and prepare things,
Yeah.
right? And again, seed, water, and just allow it to happen, then you don't do so much. What's going on with sleep? You don't wake up the seed and try to germinate yourself. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
But that's the
Yeah.
part more he's become more of a tender
Yeah.
tending of the garden because he goes out there now and every morning he goes out there, he checks on his garden, he looks at each little plant, he checks each leaf, he checks to see, okay, what are the bugs doing today, is there enough shade over, he put his little umbrella out over some of the pepper plants if they need it for today. I mean, he's just so intentional about the garden. But the funny thing is there's two things happening because God does his part. The natural stuff that God provides, he provides the sun. He knows when to make it rain. God does his part, but my husband does his part as well. So it's like God has invited him to participate in the planting in the process of what these plants and vegetables and stuff are doing out in the garden. And so likewise in our marriage, began to take note of the growth and just things that God is doing in me.
Mhm.
And he's co-laboring. He's co-laboring in the work that he already sees God doing in me.
Absolutely.
So he's like, okay, God, I see you're doing her part in you. I don't have to do everything. I can just trust the part that you're doing. And as you invite me into the process of things you're doing in our marriage, things you're doing in her, I can co-labor with you. I can participate in what you are already doing. Because God gonna do what he do anyway. But he does invite us to participate sometimes and partner in what he's already doing.
Absolutely.
And so that's another big thing that I've seen change.
I got some other things,
So.
but I want to keep track on yours.
Okay.
Yeah. Because, well, I'll say this, is that I'm not only learning how to co-labor with God in her life, I'm also understanding the part where people in my life are co-laboring to grow me. So
That's
there,
good.
you know, my wife is providing some watering, some weeding, and some seeds as well. Friends in our neighborhood, you know, that I just met, and I read a poem today about the water and being refreshed, and so I'm grateful for that, Jeremy. So just those things, you know, and my daughter calling me and talking about all the the growth that is happening in her life. And sometimes things are dormant and in a certain season in your life. And then once you start seeing the growth, it's like, whoa, I thought that was gone. And so it's been a lot of things in my life growing. And I can only thank God for it. So I didn't mean it. Well, I did mean to go there. So I'm just grateful.
Yeah.
Grateful for all the growth.
Yeah.
That y'all have been in my life with God, co-laboring and watching the growth in me. I'm not a grown ass man anymore. I'm still growing as a man. And if there's anything that I learned is that I continue to grow. And some things that I want to pop out, like those peppers, they get right now it's kind of hot. And so, you know, we had did some traveling and we came back, they were kind of dried out. But you encouraged me to they not dead, you know.
Speak life to them.
Speak life to them.
Stop telling them they're dead.
Yeah, because I was just finna chalk it up for a whole nother time and do it later.
He was gonna count it as lost. Yeah. But I said, wait, speak life to them.
But I put it over into the garden, the ground that I prepared and put it over there and started watering, and now they've come back. And we've had a rain, we've had a heat, and peppers don't do well in heat. And so that's what she mentioned about the umbrella. So when I'm gonna bring this back over into our relationship, is like even in a hot season, just get some covering and some growth will happen. Like we got 2 peppers. Now, if it was cooler or something, you know, a lot of those buds that was happening would have came to fruit.
Yeah.
But because of the heat, the rain, the hail that we got, it came in and damaged some stuff. Hail in June, it was crazy. But those little things happen. But it's like, okay, they're still growing. I just fruited, you know, pepper.
And I like what you said too. It might even go dormant for a while. I mean, we've been seeing that quite a bit in all our kids. Things that we thought had died or whatever, they were just dormant. And now we're seeing little buds pop through. We're seeing fruit pop up on the vine. So I love that you shared that part. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course. I'm back. Back on track.
So okay. So man, and this just leads right into the third thing that I have really observed. He's just been just watching him has just been a great visual reminder or representation of how God is with us, you know, just the attentiveness, the patience, you know, he's going just the careful, you know, making sure the certain little bug, you gotta talk about the bugs too.
Okay.
Making sure, you know, certain little bugs, you know, aren't eating up the plants. Like, and that's how God is with us. Like, how we get to wake up every morning and his breath of life is in us. And he's like, hey, I just want to watch over you. I just want to tend, you know, over what's going on in your life. And he just wants to do life with us. Like he just wants to go out there and just sit in the garden sometimes, just spend time in the garden. And I'm like, man, is that how you are with us, God? You just want us to sit and just spend time with you. And you just
Absolutely.
love just being with us and spending time. And it takes me all the way back to Eden and just all throughout the Bible. God's whole intent was like, I just want to be with you. I just want to do life with you. I just want to be in communion with you. And he guards us and he protects us and he makes sure some of the bugs of life, he's like, okay, some of these bugs are needed, but some of them I'm gonna make sure, they kind of get away. But it's just like God as the master gardener.
Yeah.
And with the garden, it's like, that garden can't do anything for Linwood. He goes out there, it can produce fruit sometimes, but sometimes it might not. But there's nothing that the garden can do for him.
It's
and that's like,
it's definitely not going over and get that water hose. And
it's
water
not.
It's not like
no. So likewise with us and God, it's like there's nothing we can do for God per se. You know what I'm saying? He does everything for us. I mean, even again, just like this breath of life that he gives us, we can't do anything without him. Right. And he's just the master gardener. And so that's a scripture that I have to share with y'all today. It's John 15:5. Like, I am the vine. This is Jesus saying, I am the vine, but my Father, he is the master gardener and y'all are the branches. And so apart from him, we can do nothing. And so it was just such a great visual that I get to see in him as he's out there working with the garden, how God as the master gardener is as the tender of our souls and the gardener of our souls. It's just such a beautiful picture. And so, yeah, that's amazing.
Would you like me to share?
Yeah.
I say, what would you like me to share?
Oh, talk about the bugs.
Oh, the bugs. Florida has lots of bugs. But as I was starting this garden, I didn't go out and buy a whole bunch of things, right? I didn't, because I was like, Lord, whatever you supply, is needed. Everything is in the earth. Everything is there, So all I did was prepare the ground, and then, I saw some worms. Well, not worms, but other little things in it. I haven't seen any worms, but I knew like the millipedes and other little stuff that was going there. I was like, okay, starting out. You have to watch out for those things, because they'll come and eat the seeds or whatever case may be. But it's all supplied for me. So I was just like, as it was growing, I'm not out. I'm trying to do everything with, what's the catchphrase today? Organically. So everything I'm growing, I'm not trying to put pesticides on it, anything like that, killing the bugs. When I first started the peppers, the ants were all up in the things, but pollinators, you have to remember some of the things that they're doing. They are in the ecosystem and they're helping the growth. They're taking some things away. Yes, they eat the leaves. So I'm literally out there talking because the sweet potatoes, when they start growing, I see the bees and I see all these things growing up. And then a couple times I saw some stuff eating away. And I was like, hey, just don't eat it all. You know what I mean? Save some for us.
Yeah.
I did not want to stunt the growth or prevent whatever nature does. The ecosystem. I don't want to disrupt it. Yeah. We talk about all this GMO stuff that's out there. Not that I'm speaking against it or whatever the case may be, but it has been altered in some kind of way.
Yeah.
Right. And if I want to continue to propagate my garden, I want it natural. Yeah. I want the seeds that come up, right? The things that die off from the garden to feed the garden. The leaves that die, they can stay there and help with the, regeneration of the garden. So that's it.
And that makes me think about, I was trying to think about it this morning because I was just like in my prayer time, praying about my needs. And I was like, God, thank you for helping me to know what to want. Thank you for helping me, because sometimes what I want is not what I need. Right. I don't always know exactly what I need. There's things that I want, but God knows. He knows what I need, and he knows how what I need will affect what I want. Because sometimes what we want just messes up what we really need. And so even this past week, we were talking a little bit about this with some other couples that we were talking to. And one of the guys said, hey, even with the bugs, he was like, God knew you needed the bugs because the bugs helped him become more attentive. Right. If the bugs weren't there, how could he develop the character of attentiveness? the characteristic of attentiveness.
Right.
And so sometimes God allows things into our life, and it's like he knows sometimes we need the bugs. He knows the things that we need to help develop our character, develop our strength. And it ain't always what we think we want or need. And so he knows best. So I'm like, oh, thank you, God, for the ecosystem of my life, because you know exactly what is needed from me.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I'm just blind to that. So just grateful for that part.
And so, again, just being a gardener was different when I was trying to do gardening, right? That you pointed out. Because even the one time with the peppers, I had heard you got to watch what you listen to, right? And compare and bring it into your environment.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's different growing zones, and we're in what, 8B, 9?
I don't know.
Depends, because they say that the zones have shifted a little bit. And I'm like, okay, we're at least in 8B or 9 or 8. Between 8 and 9, I'm doing whatever 8 and 9 can do. And that's what I'm listening to, the information.
So don't compare either.
Yeah, don't compare.
Because
And
what your
watch.
ecosystem and environment needs for growth might not be the same. You might be getting all this information, but they in a whole nother ecosystem. They in a whole nother environment. And what works for them might not work for you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, she brought that home right quick.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying. Comparing like what's going on in my garden, what's going on in the garden, and in the marriage, right, with my wife. I'm not bringing information, right, that does not apply to our home, to our yard, and our garden. Because, again, listening to one guy, I could go out there and put something natural on it, right? Cayenne and stuff like that, sprayed on that. And what I didn't hear is you shouldn't do any of that stuff when the sun is out. Do that in the morning or in the evening, and don't spray it directly. It's just so many other things. And man, those almost took the peppers out. So there's things I've done like that I come in and see something going on with my wife, and I try to, do something. And it might be scorching at the time. It may not be nurturing. It may not be, and it's like, oh, it was the intent behind it may have been good, but the way and where I got the information or the thing to do it that's going to help her, it doesn't apply.
With the timing.
Yeah.
Yes. That's good. Yeah. So sometimes, if you're even getting advice or insight from other places, it's okay to get the information, but just make sure you filter it. Don't just jump on it. Like, okay, I heard that. Now let me filter. Let me pray about it. Let me bring it to God. Let me bring it to my spouse. Filter any insight and information.
That part you just said right there. Bring it to your spouse. Talk about it.
Yeah.
Communicate it.
Yeah.
Right? Don't just go and do it sometimes because, this should be.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I don't think Nate would like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because this applies for us. It sounds good.
Seek God.
And it worked for them, but does this really apply?
Yeah.
Well, what we trying to grow here? I don't know.
That's right.
That's good. Well, I think that's about it. You got anything else, love?
You got anything else? I can keep talking about the garden.
We know you can. Yeah. We're going to cut this short.
There's some lessons. There's some lessons.
Lessons in the garden. Lessons from the garden. But we'll talk about some more of it a little bit.
And I like dating you. This is Saturday. We can keep talking.
Well, speaking of it being Saturday, we do have some plans today. So we are going to get out and about a little bit in these streets. Not too much because it's hot and people are out there. So, we just going to step out a little bit. Put our toes out.
We're gonna step out our garden here and go visit some others. We're not gonna compare them. How about that?
Yep. Yeah. I'll go check out a new what do you call that thing?
Farmers market
today.
Yeah, and you want to go by a vegetarian place too. So that's cool.
Welcome to Saturday.
Thank y'all for joining us on Saturday. Huh?
That's right.
Yeah.
So you gotta make sure
you make every day a date day. We love y'all.
Absolutely.
We'll talk to you later.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Thank y'all.
See y'all next week.